Hey everyone, I'm Ryan and welcome back to Counselors and Coffee Finance Edition. This is the first of a new playlist talking about counselors and finance. And this specific video is going to talk about boosting our counselor-related income. This helped me to the tune of paying off over $127,000 in student debt. So stay tuned and I'll share with you my tips and tricks. Welcome back to Counselors and Coffee, and like I said in the intro, yes, you heard that right. We paid off over $127,000 in student loans. It took a lot to do it. Like I said, this show is talking about one piece of that, which is our income. So these are just some side hustles that are counselor-specific side hustles to boost our income. So, like I said, we have 6, and let's just get into it. And number 1, if you work in community mental health, you can actually pick up a side gig doing private practice. But I'm talking about taking a baby step into it. So what I did is I contacted one of my professors in college who I knew had a private practice, and I just reached out to talk about options of me kind of working with her or under her. So what we agreed is I start off with 50-50. Whatever the client pays, I just get half of it. So if it works out for both people, they're getting a little bit of extra money and not seeing clients, and I'm getting a little bit extra money, but I'm also learning about that part of counseling, the private practice world. And it is a completely different animal than community mental health work. So that's a great income booster, a little something on the side, a few clients here and there part-time, and you get paid for it, and you can learn about that side of counseling. Number 2, this is a very flexible option. It's online counseling. Now, there are lots of different kinds. You can Google them, but 3 that I know of, some of the top 3 are Talkspace, BetterHelp, and Breakthrough. And the reason I recommend this is because it is very flexible with your schedule. Whether you're in community mental health or if you do have a private practice, you can schedule with people in the morning before you go to work, after work, in the evening. Private practice, if you have an hour and a half in between clients, you could see somebody. Or if you have a cancellation, you can see somebody through online counseling. It's very flexible for your schedule, and they do all the work. They find the clients, all the paperwork, the release of information, and then they just send you clients and you just meet with them. However, a caveat is most of these you do need to be licensed to be able to work with it. So that being said, but I think there are some out there where you don't have to, but then you have to have your own liability insurance and things like that. Number 3 is cross training, and not like the getting swole workout cross training. I mean, if you work in community mental health and you have your typical 9 to 5, then you can probably pick up shifts at a different team. And I have a typical 9 to 5. However, I'll pick up shifts at a walk-in clinic. There may be a crisis center. There may be a mobile crisis center. These are all areas that from time to time do need other therapists to kind of help cover some shifts. And even if you're in private practice, not in community mental health, they can still work because, like I said, a lot of these agencies need some extra shift coverage, and there's lots of part-time gigs open. There's mornings, there's evenings, there's nighttime, there's overnight, there's weekends. It helps you as a counselor because you get practice seeing clientele that you maybe typically wouldn't see. It's a different team you would normally work with. It's a different EHR system. It's a different modality of procedures of how to do different things within where you're working. Number 4, get creative. YouTube. I'm doing YouTube. Use YouTube. There's podcasts. There's blogs. There's lots of different creative ways to engage with social media and to kind of do this counseling thing. And kind of how you get paid for some of that is you get enough of a following, enough people to watch and subscribe, and then you can get ad revenue. There's also affiliate marketing, and I currently do this. Before, I've talked about different books, and what I do is I signed up with affiliate marketing, so I have a specific link in my bio, and that link, if you click it, will send you to either Amazon or eBay or wherever it is. And if you buy it, I'll get a small portion of that. And the other benefit, how it helps you in the counseling world, is we get to get some of this off our chest through these creative outlets, YouTube, podcast, blog, whatever. And it makes sense because think about it. Typically throughout our day, we don't really talk a lot because we're therapists. So we listen, we reflect back, right? And we do that for most of our day. We don't have the avenue to really to get some of this out, get out our own thoughts, to wonder, to pontificate, to just have a conversation. And honestly, that's why I started this channel. If it doesn't make any money, then whatever. But it's super helpful for me to actually have that outlet to just talk and discuss and me to work through some of these counselor life issues with other therapists. Not like today, because I'm going solo today. But that's a huge bonus for this creative piece. Number 5. This one is loosely related to counseling. It's research firms. There are big companies out there that want to know about people's buying habits, people's watching habits of TV, of entertainment, listening to music. So like big drink industries or entertainment or cable companies will hire out some research firms to conduct research, makes sense, to figure out what people's patterns are and behaviors are towards their products. How long do they watch TV? How often do they watch it? What kind of movies do they watch? What kind of TV shows do they watch? Do they watch it when they're angry? Do they watch it when they're sad? All these types of questions that they want to know so they can specifically market their product to you. And the research firms will pay for this. It could take anywhere between an hour to 2.5 hours to 3 hours, and you can get paid from $100 up to $300. Look it up, Google it. And again, it's just a little side hustle, a little bit of extra cash here and there for a small amount of your time. And how this loosely applies to counseling is really interesting because in these focus groups, you get people from all different walks of life. So you get to observe, to listen, to pay attention to their thinking habits, to how they form their thoughts, how they arrive to their conclusion. And it is beneficial because we may not get a wide variety like that in our day-to-day life, and we're usually listening to offer something back, right? Where here you can just really observe people's typical behavior, and I found it helpful to just kind of sit back and observe and incorporate that into my counseling with how do people arrive at their conclusions or why do they think the way they think. So number 6, pharmaceutical companies. I know some of you out there probably have a disdain for big pharma, but the reality is they're a big part of this counseling world, medications. So this isn't really getting paid per se for the most part. It is a way to kind of get a freebie that can kind of just boost your day. If you can't afford to eat out a lot, this is a nice little treat. So what they'll do is they will host small lunches and just talk about one of their medications, but then ask you a lot of questions. So they like to get a lot of information from us because we are really on the front lines of what our clients need and want from medications. It is helpful for the counseling side, for you personally, because they'll actually have dinners once in a while, less often, and they'll bring in a guest speaker. And honestly, not too long ago, I went to one and it was wonderful. The doctor, he talked about schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder. It left small details and ways to think about the patients and clients struggling with those disorders in a way I never really thought about before. So that alone was worth it. Plus, I got free food. Now, all of these things I just shared, this list of 6, I have done and do all of these things. And they're not all big hitters. They're not all tons of money. But you add them up and it does make a difference with my finances and trying to pay off my debt as soon as I can. Conservatively, they would bring in about at least $1,500 a month when we add them all up. So thanks for watching. Next week, we're going to be talking about counselors and finance on the outgo side, on disciplined spending. But before we head out today, and before I say like and subscribe, I do have a question for the day. Have you tried any of these counseling side hustles? And if so, how was it? What was your experience? Or do you have any other ideas for side hustles that are counselor related? That's it. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you want to get notifications when we come out with new shows. Thanks. It's been great. See you next time.